Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome to a brand new video. Now, as you guys can tell by the title and also by the clip playing in the game right now, we're going to be killing the Revenants cave on an incredibly low level account. Now, this account isn't mine, it was lent to me by a good friend of mine, and as you can see, it's 39 combat with 52 range, and that is exactly the combat range that I wanted to be in. I wanted to be between level 35 and 40 combat, simply because the main types of PKers that you find at the Rev caves vary from roughly 70 all the way up to level 126. Where I will be killing Revenants in the cave, it's going to be 30 wilderness, therefore most of the level 70s aren't going to be able to attack me, and hopefully we won't have to deal with too many PKers in this combat bracket. Now, this video has two parts to it. As you can see right now, I'm running to Revenant's cave with no cannon. I'm just taking an MSB with some rune arrows to see how much money I can make. Once I finish up doing this first hour with just the rune arrows MSB, I then grab myself a cannon and we see exactly how much money we can make and compare the difference between the two, because as you guys know, if you've gone to Revenants the past week, cannons are incredibly popular when it comes to this place. Now, it goes without saying, I am on a low combat account. I also have pretty amateur to low stats, therefore we can only really kill the very low level Revenants to stand a chance of actually getting the drops. As you guys know or don't know, they actually re-heal their health, as you can see in the clip right now. It's healing itself, so if anybody else gives me any trouble when it comes to getting the kills, if they have a blowpipe or melee, chances are they are going to be able to take it. Also, we will be using this spot right here in game. As you can see, I would personally say it's the best place to be for a low level, because there's a Revenant Imp which has 10 health, there's a Revenant Goblin which has 15, and there's also a Pyre Fiend which has roughly 50, which is going to be our prime focus when it comes to this spot, because the Pyre Fiend has such a higher drop chance of actually giving loot than what the other two do. And believe me, I camped this spot for a couple of hours, I killed the Goblin and also the Revenant Imp, and I will say, although they all have the same drop table and it just depends on the combat level depending on how often they drop it, the Pyre Fiend is far superior. Surprisingly, after doing this on my main and being attacked like every 10 minutes, this was actually really chill to be able to do this. It almost made me want to just get an account which had specifically high range with low combat. Plus side of being on such a low combat is the fact that you get left alone. You want to be in the most PK active worlds you can possibly find, because as soon as the world gets swiped by that clan, as you just saw, every single Revenant in there you can then attack. Obviously at this combat level with these stats I was going for the Pyre Fiends because I could borderline kill them somewhat efficiently. Being in a world with a bunch of PKers is very beneficial in more than just that respect. Whenever a clan comes through and clears all of the Revenant killers, you can simply loot everything that they leave, and that stuff really does add up when you're doing this on a low combat account. Now obviously all of the items I managed to loot from corpses in this last hour, they aren't coming from the Revenants that I've killed personally myself. However, because it's such a common occurrence for there to be clans coming through and just sweeping through the world, and they leave so much loot on the floor, I am going to be including the drops I got from looting in the end towards the grand prize check. So yeah, if you actually plan on doing this, I would highly suggest looting people's corpses once you see the drops on the floor. On top of that, obviously because you're killing the Revenants, you also have the chance of receiving drops yourself. And who knows, you may end up getting the 16 mil emblem. It can happen. It could even get dropped by the Imp if you were insanely lucky. And here's the first prize check. This took us 13 minutes to be able to acquire. Bearing in mind, this is a level 39 account with 52 range, and we got 267k with literally 2 drops from the actual Revenants. It's actually kind of painful looking at these clips, because I just in real time uploaded the video yesterday where I made a bond in less than 1 day with low/no requirements, and just seeing these clips and seeing the drops that I'm getting actually makes me feel so depressed, because I put 11 hours into buying rakes from farm shops and like making super compost and just really shitty chory stuff that takes hours and hours to do, and then they release Revenants and you can just come here, kill one and get 5 uncut dragon stones. What the fuck, man? But I will say this, there is no more amazing feeling than getting an extremely rare drop, such as the dragon plate skirt, even a dragon long or rune legs on a level 39 with 52 range. It really does feel amazing. So it's time for the price check. The very first hour has been completed. We have an entire inventory of loot. Just look at that. Level 39 combat, incredibly low stats, a full inventory from Revs, and we made 1.8 million profit in 1 hour on a level 39. That, ladies and gentlemen, is fucking nuts. Especially when you compare it to the video I was talking about earlier, when the maximum amount of profit I was making per hour was 600k, and that was with a moneymaker that I could only do once every 4 hours because there was a buy limit on the Grand Exchange. Moving on, we are going to be going back to the Revenants now for a further 1 hour, and we're going to be comparing exactly how much money we can make with the cannon this time being the only significant change to our setup. Right here is the spot that you want to put it in. I wouldn't suggest putting it anywhere different if you're planning on doing this, to be honest, because chances are the Revenant Dragon's going to be taken, and in this spot you can attack all of the free revs that you want to kill. And on top of that, there is also a greater or lesser demon just to the south of this spawn where you may occasionally be able to get enough damage off so that you can actually get the kill. And something that I haven't mentioned yet, which is definitely worth doing, if you go into your settings, you can actually change it so you get a little red message appear in your chat box whenever you get a drop, and you can set the value drop, so even if you don't see yourself getting a drop, there will be a little message down in the chat box, and therefore you know that you just need to run around and try to find the loot the best you can. So it is now hit the 2 hour mark. We've done 1 hour without the cannon and 1 hour with the cannon. Now, quite surprisingly, I actually made more money in the first hour without the cannon, and I think that's due to the fact that I managed to find quite a lot of loot on the floor from corpses and such. Now, I think that's due to the fact that I didn't hop around very much, simply for the reason that I can't protect item on this account. So when I pick up my cannon, I risk a good chunk of money when I do so. So what I ended up doing was I basically just stuck in one world, and surprisingly, even when people logged in with god swords, sour doman swords, blowpipes, etc., with the cannon being there and killing the pyrophene, I would say I got a good 90% of the kills over them. As you can see, we managed to make ourselves 1.3 mil, which is still very good when you think about it, especially for such a low combat account. I ended up using 603 cannonballs in that hour, which is the equivalent to 108k cash. So if I take that away from the 1.3 mil we've made, let's roughly call it 1.2 mil profit. I'm not going to subtract any of the supplies that I use getting to the Revenant and at the Revenants, simply for the fact that you just don't use many supplies on a low level. I mean, ranging pots are 2k, you never really have to eat, because as you saw, I died once and that was the only time that I got attacked in the 2 hours that I was there. So I'm going to call that hour a 1.2 mil profit. And there you have it, guys. As you can see in my inventory, we managed to make ourselves 3.1 mil in 2 hours of Revenant killing on a level 39 combat. We got from 52 to 54 range in that time. Not bad at all. The way that I see this money is that is enough money to buy a bond. Therefore, there really is no excuse to not have membership once you have membership. If you guys are close to running out, I would highly advise to go to the Revenant caves, whether you be looting, killing the Revenants, PKing, whatever you fancy. The money there is so insanely good right now. You need to take advantage of it. My verdict for this, I am really surprised and very happy with the outcome. To be able to make over 1.5 mil on average per hour on this lower level account is really good. Now, after making this video, I am kind of curious to know how much money you would make from just looting at the Rev Caves, so that's something I might potentially make a video on if you guys like the sound of that. The sky is the limit when it comes to looting, and considering how busy it is right now at the Revenant Caves, there could be so much loot on the ground. It may even be better money than killing them. With that being said, guys, I do hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure you leave it a thumbs up, subscribe if you are new to the channel, leave a comment down below with your RuneScape name if you fancy a chance of winning a bronze, and I will see you very soon.